There's no other place like it on Earth. You totally expect the devil himself to come jumping out of this crater with horns and a pitchfork in the tail and the whole works. So I totally understand how it got the name Gateway to Hell.
Earth is a treasure trove of mysterious wonders that continue to fascinate us. From Mount Gandeng's stone eggs in Gulu Village, which make an appearance only once every 30 years, leaving us in awe of their rarity, to the door to hell in Turkmenistan, a constant gas fire to the Antarctica's blood falls, to the Ladakh's magnetic hill that plays gravity tricks. Each wonder adds a unique dimension to the mysteries of our planet, Earth. Join us as we find out the top 10 world mysteries that no one can explain. Number 10. The stone eggs. Climbing Mount Gandeng can be an exciting experience because of its unique feature, the so-called stone eggs. While they aren't real eggs, these stones resemble dinosaur eggs, contributing to the mountain's fame. These stone eggs were formed around 500 million years ago in a specific mountain region. Interestingly, this phenomenon repeats approximately every 30 years, with stones emerging in various sizes and shades on the cliff's surface. A study conducted in the area revealed that the composition of these cliff stones differs from other parts of the mountain, primarily consisting of calcareous rocks that are more susceptible to erosion. Over the course of 3 decades, these stones gradually transformed into the shape of eggs. The mystery lies in how these rock formations become perfectly spherical and smooth. Scientists propose that each stone egg has an organic core composed of shells, plant remains, fish teeth, and skeletons. Gulu Village, situated close to the stone eggs, considers them sacred, associating them with good fortune. Many families in the village have adopted these stone eggs as a symbol of luck, but only about 70 eggs remain. Over time, these rocks that stick out from the cliff break free and go down to the valley floor. The Sui folks who live nearby in the village of Gulu gather these rocks in an organized way and keep them safe in their homes. According to their long-standing way of doing things, these special rocks, which kind of look like eggs, are thought to bring good luck and peaceful times to a household. In Gulu, it's pretty common for houses to have not just one of these rocks, but a bunch of them. Some families even have 70 or more. The cliff they come from is called Chandanya. The cliff face, made mostly of softer rock, wears down faster than these strong rocks. Every so often, the cliff's face wears away enough for the rocks to loosen up and fall from their little spots. A really long time ago, more than 550 million years ago during the Cambrian period, the mountain had some big movements in the earth, like folding and faulting. This mountain, which used to be underwater, somehow got rocks from under the water mixed into it. As the mountain keeps changing and wearing away, these super old rocks, smoothed and shaped by water, show up. The good-sized cliff, at 20 meters by 6 meters, is mostly made of mudstone and other rocks that easily break down. The fact that these materials break apart easily shows how things keep changing between the cliff and its parts, creating a cool sight that makes the Chandanya famous and interesting for the folks in Gulu. Number 9. Easter Island. Rapa Nui is also known as Easter Island. It was stumbled upon by Jacob Roggeveen, who wasn't even looking for it. He just happened to land there one Sunday, giving it the name Easter Island. Jacob was originally trying to find Terra Australis, which never existed. It was just an idea about a hypothetical continent. He also wanted to check out Davis Land, believed to have been spotted by Edward Davis, the pirate, not the saxophone player. Jacob didn't succeed in finding either, except for Easter Island, which was quite a discovery. Easter Island is a special territory of Chile located in the southeastern Pacific Ocean. Why is it on my list? Well, nearly 1,000 stone statues, called moai, were found there. The Rapa Nui people who created these statues mostly crafted giant heads, but there are a few kneeling figures with their hands over their stomachs. Each statue represents a chief or another important member of the Easter Island society. To shape these statues, the locals used volcanic stones softened for carving. This tiny piece of volcanic rock in the Big South Seas is, even today, the farthest inhabited place on Earth. It's almost 1,000 statues, some nearly 30 feet tall and as heavy as 80 tons, are still a mystery. But the people who made them are still there. Their descendants are creating art and keeping their cultural traditions alive through a rebirth on the island. For early travelers, the sight of huge stone figures, calm like gods and wild like humans, was almost too amazing to believe. The island's group of people needed to be bigger, more basic, and far away to be considered capable of making such impressive art. Captain James Cook, a British sailor, wrote in 1774, "We could hardly understand how these islanders, who didn't know any machines, could lift such huge figures. He guessed that maybe they raised investigations by using piles of stones and platforms. Many ideas and lots of scientific investigations have been done since then." By Cook's time, the islanders had knocked down many statues and ignored the ones left standing, but the art of Easter Island still captures people's imaginations. The island is unique because of its history as much as its art. But trying to figure out that history has led to many different explanations and arguments. Missionaries' stories, archaeologists' digging, anthropologists' spoken histories, and boxes of bones have all revealed parts of the island's history. Number 8. Darvaza Gas Crater. The Darvaza Gas Crater, also known as the Door to Hell or Gates of Hell, or officially the Shining of Karakum, is a burning natural gas field that fell into a hole near Darvaza, Turkmenistan. Many natural gas fires light up the bottom and edge of the hole. The hole has been burning since the 1980s. We don't know exactly how the hole formed, but engineers lit it on fire to stop harmful gases from spreading. The early times of the hole's history need to be clarified. Important documents are either not available, secret, or hard to get. Some local scientists say the hole fell in the 1960s and was set on fire in the 1980s to stop bad gases. Others say Soviet engineers drilled the site in 1971 as an oil field, but it collapsed soon after, making the hole. The engineers decided to burn the hole to stop the harmful gases, but they didn't realize how much gas was there. In April 2010, President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow suggested limiting the hole's impact on other natural gas fields nearby. In January 2022, Berdimuhamedow said they planned to put out the hole, mentioning its bad effects on local health, the environment, and the natural gas industry. A group was formed to figure out the best way to do it. Despite Berdimuhamedow's plans, the hole is still open and burning. In the time after the Soviet Union in Turkmenistan, the burning hole became a big tourist attraction, maybe because the area was declared a natural reserve in 2013. A simple road leads to the hole without any signs, and yurts have been set up nearby. In 2018, the gas hole was used as a stop for an overnight rally called the Amal Hazar Automobile Rally. In 2019, Berdimuhamedow showed up on TV doing tricks with his car around the hole to prove he was alive, dismissing rumors of his death. As for exploring the hole, in 2013, George Kourounis became the first person to step down into it. He collected soil samples for the Extreme Microbiome Project, and National Geographic sponsored the descent. The event was featured in an episode of the National Geographic Channel series Die Trying. Kourounis reported that he described it as a coliseum of fire, adding that there are thousands of small fires everywhere one looks. He mentioned that the sound resembled a jet engine, a loud, high-pressure, gas-burning sound. Notably, he observed no smoke, emphasizing that the fire burns very cleanly, allowing one to see every little flame without anything obstructing the view. Number 7. Richat Structure, aka Eye of Sahara. In the Sahara Desert near Mauritania, there's a geographical feature made of layers of rocks that look a lot like rings. It's no wonder NASA even noticed it from up in the sky. From above, this geological feature appears to be swirling and spinning. Scientists are still trying to figure out how these rings ended up there. Some think it was because an asteroid hit, while many others believe it was just a natural geological thing. The Richat structure is like a raised and worn-down dome to these scientists. Geologists often call it a domed anticline. The smart people discovered that the rocks in the middle are older than the ones in the outer ring, suggesting that the rocks have worn down to flat layers over time. Inside, you can see different types of rocks, like spectacular rhyolites and gabbros that changed because of hot water, and there's also a big broken rock mixture in the center. The place also has a lot of Acheulean archaeological artifacts, and it's been chosen as one of the first 100 geological heritage sites by the International Union of Geological Sciences because of its high scientific importance. The structure was first discussed in the 1930s and 1940s as the Richat Crater, or Richat Buttonhole. In 1948, Richard Mollard thought it happened because of the laccolithic uplift. Then, in 1952, many smart people went to Mauritania on a trip led by Théodore Monod. They found 4 crater-like or circular irregularities in the area, including Er Richat, Awelul, south of Chinguetti, Temimichat Galaman, and Tenumer. At first, they thought it was from something hitting the ground, just like the other 3. But when they looked closer in the 1950s and 1960s, they figured it might be from earthly stuff. In the 1960s, after doing tests in the field and lab, they found little proof of something hitting the ground super fast from space. There was a thing called coesite, which shows when rocks get hit hard, but they later found out it was a mistake and it was buried. They tried to figure out how old the structure was in the 1990s, and a study in 2005 and 2008 said it was from something other than something hitting it. Later, when they looked deep under the surface using aeromagnetic and gravimetric mapping, they discovered that the structure happened because of ring faults. These faults caused gabbroic ring dikes over a big body of magma. Then, the place got lifted, and later, it wore down into a dome because of a lot of hot water activity under the ground. This hot water stuff makes some rocks hard and others soft. Over time, they wear away differently, creating cuestas. The underground rock that showed up because of all this wearing down dates back to the Cretaceous period. Number 6. Blood falls. Blood falls, named for its red color, isn't a flow of blood from some hidden wound. People first thought the red color came from red algae, but a study in the Journal of Glaciology revealed the real reason for using radar to scan the layers of ice where the river comes from. Scientists, including National Geographic explorer Aaron C. Pettit, found the answer. Blood Falls is in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys, pouring from Taylor Glacier, with the liquid bubbling up from cracks in the glacier's surface. The flow was a puzzle, because the average temperature is 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and there isn't much melting at the surface. Looking under the glacier solved the mystery, showing a complicated system of underground rivers and a lake, all full of brine high in iron, giving the falls their reddish color. The study explains that the brine stays liquid because of its high salt content and the heat released when it freezes. The lake under the glacier is super salty, and since salty water freezes at a lower temperature than pure water, it melts the ice, allowing the rivers to flow. This means the glacier has flowing water even in the coldest conditions on Earth, but it looks like something else because of the high iron content. The study also found that the amount of iron-rich brine in the river water increases as you get closer to the falls. Water temperature and brine content are linked. Cracks in the glacier let brine in, and as it freezes, it warms the ice around it, increasing the brine concentration in the cracks' centers. Hydrous ferric oxides, which are not very soluble, are left on the surface of ice when the ferrous ions in the unfrozen salt water react with atmospheric oxygen. The more soluble ferrous ions initially dissolve in old seawater trapped in a pocket from the Antarctic Ocean, isolated by the glacier during the Miocene period about 5 million years ago, when the sea level was higher. Unlike most Antarctic glaciers, Taylor Glacier isn't frozen to the bedrock, probably because of the salts concentrated by the crystallization of ancient seawater underneath it. The deep seawater turned into super salty brines when the pure ice formed, pushing out its dissolved salts as it cooled down because of the heat exchange with the glacier's massive ice. As a result, the trapped seawater became concentrated with a salinity 2 to 3 times higher than normal ocean water. Another way hypersaline brines might form is through water evaporation from surface lakes exposed to the extremely dry polar atmosphere in the McMurdo Dry Valleys. Analyzing stable isotopes of water can help distinguish between these processes, as long as there's no mixing between different types of brines. By chance, a hypersaline fluid was sampled through a crack in the ice, and it was oxygen-free, containing lots of sulfate and ferrous ions. The sulfate suggests a leftover signature from marine conditions, and the soluble iron likely came from the subglacial bedrock minerals weathered by microbial activity in reducing conditions. Number 5. Namibian Fairy Circle. Stretching across hundreds of miles, millions of circular patches range from 10 to 65 feet in diameter. These peculiar formations are named fairy circles because they resemble patterns that fairies or otherworldly beings could create. Essentially, they are oval-shaped patches of soil surrounded by grass. Local beliefs offer various explanations for the creation of these circles, attributing them to mythical entities. When observed from satellite imagery, the Namibian fairy circles appear otherworldly. Local legend attributes their creation to gods who supposedly left behind their footprints on the red earth. However, the reality behind the formation of these fairy circles is more rooted in mathematics and biology than in folklore. Despite their seemingly random appearance, there might be a structured and non-random explanation for their arrangement. However, scientific explanations provide a different perspective. Biologists and mathematicians have grappled with the mystery of Namibian fairy circles for many years, proposing various theories to understand this phenomenon. One popular theory suggests that water scarcity in the desert plays a crucial role. Plants in the desert compete for the limited water available, leading to an intriguing pattern. Some plants expand and thrive, forming patches, while smaller plants nearby struggle to get enough water to survive. As a result, certain vegetation disappears, and the remaining plants settle at the edges of these patches, creating the distinct and regular gaps observed in the fairy circles. Fairy circles exhibit an intriguing phenomenon known as birth and death, referring to their appearance and disappearance over time. Some fairy circles vanish within 10 years or even less, while others endure for centuries. The occurrences of these births and deaths, observed over extended periods, can lead to significant landscape transformations, potentially contributing to the desertification of the ecosystem. The process of fairy circles emerging might serve as an indicator of a gradual desertification unfolding in the landscape. Scientists are actively exploring whether external factors, such as alterations in the water supply, can influence the birth or death of fairy circles. By testing interventions like adjusting the amount of water in the system, researchers aim to uncover the true underlying cause of the fairy circle's life cycle events. In Africa, these mysterious circles form a belt approximately 160 kilometers inland, stretching from Angola and about 2,400 kilometers down to the northwestern Cape Province of South Africa. This region is notably remote and challenging, with many areas over 100 kilometers from the nearest village. The fairy circles have been acknowledged and casually discussed for many years, making their way into technical literature in the 1920s and occasionally resurfacing in subsequent years. However, in the final quarter of the 20th century, the intensity of scientific study on them increased. In a surprising discovery in 2014, fairy circles were found outside Africa, specifically 15 kilometers from Newman in the Pilbara region of Western Australia. Australian environmental engineers Bronwyn Bell and Stefan Getson from the Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research released a paper in 2016 that offered new insights into the potential causes behind the formation of fairy circles. Number 4. Magnetic Hill. Magnetic Hill in Ladakh, India, stands as a captivating destination, drawing the interest and fascination of visitors. The arrangement of the terrain and the slopes around Magnetic Hill gives rise to a captivating optical illusion, making it seem like there is a hill. Contrary to appearances, the road on the hill is, in fact, a downhill road. This optical trick can make objects and cars on the hill road appear to defy gravity by rolling uphill while rolling downhill. Magnetic Hill is situated 7.5 kilometers southeast of Nimmu, and 26.5 kilometers west of Leh on the Srinagar-Ladakh road. Residents in the magnetic hill of Ladakh believe that an ancient road once existed, leading people directly to heaven. It was said that those deserving of the path were automatically drawn towards it, while those deemed undeserving could never reach it. Another theory, considered sensible and widely embraced, suggests that a potent magnetic force emanates from the hill, pulling vehicles within its range. This unusual phenomenon along the Leh-Kargil highway has been witnessed and affirmed by travelers from around the globe. Notably, the magnetic hill has even led Indian Air Force planes to alter their routes in the past to avoid potential magnetic interference. A third theory dismisses the notion of a magnetic force and asserts that the hill creates only an optical illusion. According to this perspective, the downslope of the road leading to Magnetic Hill in Ladakh looks like an upslope due to the visual trickery. Hence, when observers see a vehicle moving uphill, it is, in reality, descending downhill. Perched at a lofty altitude of 14,000 feet, Magnetic Hill graces the Leh-Kargil-Baltic National Highway in the Trans-Himalayan region. The Sindhu River flows to the east of Magnetic Hill, enhancing the natural beauty of the surroundings and creating a picturesque scene. Endowed with breathtaking natural scenery and mysterious magnetic properties, the magnetic road in Ladakh attracts travelers who seek to witness the peculiar and gravity-defying phenomenon. Alongside the Magnetic Hill Road, a yellow box is marked on the magnetic road a few meters away, signifying that vehicles should be parked in neutral gear. From this point, vehicles seemingly start moving at a speed close to 20 mph, adding to the intrigue of the experience. Number 3. Flaming Rock. Yanartaş, Turkish for flaming stone, is a distinctive geographical feature near the Olympos Valley and National Park in Antalya Province, southwestern Turkey. This site is marked by numerous small fires that consistently burn from openings in the rocks on the mountainside. Just below these enduring fires lie the remnants of the temple of Hephaistos, the Greek god linked with fire due to his role as the blacksmith to the gods. To witness the fires in the ancient ruins, visitors need to reach the entrance at the mountain's base and embark on a straightforward 1-kilometer ascent. Most people prefer to visit at night, when the fires are most dazzling and spectacular. In ancient times, sailors utilized the flames as a navigational aid. But nowadays, the flames are more commonly employed for brewing tea, adding a contemporary and practical dimension to this unique and historic site. The fires at Yanartaş cover an expansive area of 5,000 meters square and are sustained by gas emissions burning for a remarkable 2,500 years or more. These emissions exhibit seasonal variations, with vents and flames displaying increased vigor during the winter. This seasonal fluctuation is a common feature in such seeps, where gas flux is typically influenced by factors like groundwater recharge and shifts in atmospheric pressure, leading to gas pressure buildup. While abiotic methane typically forms at higher temperatures than those found in the rocks at Yanartaş, ruthenium in the igneous rocks beneath the flames is believed to act as a catalyst. This catalyst enables methane formation at lower temperatures, specifically below 100 degrees Celsius, as observed at Yanartaş. Notably, these vents represent the most significant emission of a biogenic methane identified on land to date. It's crucial to highlight that the emissions are not of volcanic origin, as methane is not linked to mantle or magma degassing. Number 2. Frozen Abraham Lake. Abraham Lake in Canada, situated on the eastern edge of the Rocky Mountains in Alberta, becomes a captivating destination for numerous tourists and photographers during the winter season. This reservoir is renowned for a remarkable natural occurrence: the formation of frozen bubbles. The spectacle is most commonly observed from mid-January to early February. White bubbles take shape in the clear, dark ice of Abraham Lake, creating a captivating sight, especially when illuminated by the right light and weather conditions. Even as temperatures plunge well below zero for weeks, parts of Abraham Lake begin to freeze, setting the stage for this enchanting display. The captivating and unique appearance of the bubbles in Abraham Lake might lead one to believe in a rare phenomenon, but in reality, it's a result of a common natural process: decomposition. The frozen bubbles in Abraham Lake occur when plants and tree limbs at the lake's bottom begin to decay. As part of this natural process, methane gas is released, forming bubbles in the water. When winter arrives and temperatures drop, these methane bubbles get trapped in the ice, suspended just below the water's surface. As Abraham Lake freezes further, layers and stacks of bubbles emerge within the thickening ice. The lake transforms into a spectacular sight, resembling a giant lava lamp with frozen, suspended blobs. What sets Abraham Lake apart as an extraordinary place to witness frozen methane bubbles is the clarity of the ice and the high concentration of bubbles. Strong wind gusts in the area can clear away snow, creating a smooth, glass-like ice surface. The lake unveils thousands of frozen bubbles without snow cover, making the phenomenon particularly stunning and unique. Number 1. Racetrack Playa. The Racetrack Playa, commonly known as the Racetrack, is a visually striking dry lake feature characterized by sailing stones that create linear imprints resembling a racetrack. It is a notable geological phenomenon that is situated on the northwestern side of Death Valley in Death Valley National Park, Inyo County, California. Here is a dry lake bed featuring moving rocks. These peculiar rocks appear to be pushed or dragged by an unseen force, leaving behind trails and a mystery. The force behind this phenomenon has now been unraveled. Surprisingly, it's the wind and some ice. Scientists explain that the wind propels the rocks during short intervals when the ground is coated with ice. While these findings shed light on the physics involved, several aspects of the tracks remain mysterious. Kletechka et al. Suggested that rocks with higher thermal conductivity than water or ice could freeze to the rock's base when an ice sheet forms. This allows the ice sheet to move along with the rock and silt propelled by the wind. A comprehensive system was established to investigate the rock movement on Racetrack Playa, including a nearby weather station, time-lapse cameras focused on the southeast corner, and 15 GPS-equipped boulders on the surface. Researchers conducted maintenance and data retrieval visits to the location 5 to 8 times a year. From November to March each year, the time-lapse camera recorded hourly conditions. The playa is located in the small Racetrack Valley Endorhik Basin, between the Cottonwood Mountains to the east and the Nelson Range to the west. During heavy rain, water flows down from the surrounding mountains, draining into the playa and forming a shallow, short-lived endorheic lake. Under the desert sun, the thin layer of water evaporates rapidly, leaving behind a surface layer of soft, slick mud that shrinks and cracks into a mosaic pattern of interlocking polygons. Some mysteries have remained unsolved since their discovery, leaving scientists and researchers wondering if they really know everything about our planet. However, the latest discovery is even more intriguing. Scientists from around the world are gathering to investigate a mysterious phenomenon that has been dubbed our Happy Rick phone case. These phone cases have been found to protect phones in ways that seem beyond comprehension, while still maintaining a grand appearance. If you're interested in getting one of these mysterious phone cases for yourself, simply click on the link on the screen or check out the first link in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. While you are still here, click the video on your screen to see more mind-blowing videos like this one.